Welcome to another episode of the Rugby Rookie. Today, I have a guy named Casey Hansen with us. And Casey Hansen is one of the coolest dudes that you'll ever meet. Casey is one of those coaches that does some incredible things for the organizations that he works with. And the way that I was introduced to him was he came to a tournament that we ran here, and they caught everyone by surprise. And everyone was just going, whoa, who is this team from Iowa? He coaches at Waverly-Shell Rock in Iowa, but on other teams that are club teams, at both local and international. Casey, how does that sound? Does that about summarize that?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I wouldn't expand on that at all.
Thing about Casey is he is one of the more humble guys that you'll meet too. And that's what I love about his style. You could tell when he is with his team, they respect him greatly. And his coaching style is one of those that anyone would love to be around. So Casey, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. It was fun getting to know you a little bit last year, and pretty excited for this too.
It's pretty fun. You got to give me the story of how you even came into rugby, because first of all, you're a large man. I thought maybe a linebacker or something in college or something like this, but then on the rugby pitch, I mean, you're a force to be reckoned with. Just wonder if you could give us your background there.
So I started playing the year I graduated, way back in 2002. I had a guy that worked with my mother who played for Bremer County in Waverly. And he said, "Oh, you were decent at football. Have you ever thought about rugby?" And I was like, "Is that that thing with no pads?" And he's like, "Yep." I go, "Yeah, I'm in." So my first sevens tournament was in Iowa Falls at Taz Sevens. And then I kind of took a year off to play collegiate football. I was a tight end, not a linebacker, but we were close. And then after that, I came back to the Waverly area, and I played with Bremer County until about 2 years ago. And then I figured that I am far too fat and old to be playing rugby anymore. And I started coaching probably 10 years before that.
That is fabulous. And what was it about? Because there's all this ongoing debate about football, rugby, and it's fun because I see it as something that they complement each other. I mean, every football player that's come through the program, just the field awareness goes up, their ability to tackle better it goes up. What's been your experience having experienced both at a pretty high level?
Yeah, I mean, you get the physicality of football. You don't see many football players that don't like to hit. Like in Iowa, especially wrestling wise, immediately they're going to have a pretty good work rate because wrestling is a fairly intense sport when it comes to cardio. We've had some very good basketball players that have come over just because they can see the field a little bit better, similar to basketball, running plays and looking where to pass the ball. But I don't know. I can't say that I've had one that stands out more than the other. They're all pretty good in their own different ways. Like you kind of know you've got to teach basketball players how to tackle and run.
Yeah.
But they're all pretty good.
Have you seen how they've helped anyone get better at either sport as they've done that? So football guy coming in rugby goes back to rugby and just like, whoa, what's going on, man? This guy's great.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I've been coaching the high school boys team, at least part of it since I think we started it in 2016. And without having it in front of me, I would say almost every year, maybe you could miss a couple years until now, but almost every year the leading tackler for our football team was a rugby kid. You can attribute that to rugby or just that kid being a very good football player. But I would say rugby definitely helps with open field tackling and vision. I would also flip that around on the girls' side. I think once the girls start playing a little bit more, they build the confidence, so they're more aggressive at a younger age. So they build a little bit more confidence, whether that's in basketball or wrestling. They kind of know that they can do it.
I'm going to bring up wrestling. Now, I know a little bit about Iowa simply because I had a number of clients out that way. And wrestling is like a religion over there. And the other thing, too, is I grew up on a farm. Those are big farm kids, too. But I'm going to go back to the wrestling piece. I remember when you came onto the field and your teams were some of the best tacklers I've ever seen. And when I was speaking with some of your players, they said, we all wrestle. How impactful was that in developing them as rugby players?
I think it's pretty important. I know. I guess I'll just speak from Iowa. If it doesn't matter, usually if you're 4 or 5, you're probably going to do youth wrestling just because it gives you something to do. The parents will throw you in there, gives them a little break, and it kind of wears you out. So most of them, if they don't wrestle in high school, still probably have wrestled at some point. So
Got
they
it.
kind of already understand the mechanics of double leg, stuff like that. So I guess just building that confidence in like a contact area is massive.
I would agree because when I look back at the film, all your players, every one of them was just going low. And the other thing is, it wasn't just a hit, they wrapped. And it was just reminiscent of when I wrestled, it was those double leg takedowns. But then to see that in action on a pitch was just fun to watch. But yeah, plus I think it was one of your first games, you beat the National 15s champion. That
It's
was
a good one.
that was a war, man.
It's a good one. But we kind of pride ourselves on our defense too, and we like I coach that way. And that was the offense will always kind of come, but if you apply all the pressure on the defense, you'll end up in a better spot. So for us, the girls last year for sure took that in stride, and man, they you're not lying, they did come up really fast, really hard. They didn't miss very many tackles. And I would say that whole team's work rate is probably why we did as well as we did.
Yeah.
They really bought into you can do anything for 7 minutes.
Basically, what you folks did, the secret is out about Iowa. No one's going to take that for granted again. And I love that fact too. Just, I don't know what it is about the I states, Idaho, Iowa. Man, I don't know who else. Maybe it's the farming. I don't know. It's, man. Well, you also did very well with the club team that you took over to NAIs. I mean, you folks took it all, if I remember correctly. And how did all that come about? So you are on the local level making a significant impact there. Now you're making an impact on a national level there.
Yeah, I would say I think it was 5. It was right before COVID. Ethan Pune reached out to me as a director of Rebel Rugby Academy and asked if I wanted to coach a little bit. So I started with them, and I'm pretty biased, but I think they're probably the best at what they do in the country as far as academy teams and providing, the providing what they provide, I guess, for lack of a better term. But started with them, and the top elite side. I coached the second elite side. Both of those teams in the U18 division for the boys, like the top side won it. We got fifth. We only lost one game to Belmont Shore, and we beat them the day before. So both teams played really well, and I know the U18 Opens only lost one game in a game that they wish they had.
Yeah.
Came out there, the U16's elite went 3 for 3, and they competed really well, and I think it'll be fun watching everybody come up next year too. But he just kind of reached out because Iowa selects, and we had one of our players go down with him in like 2018, I think, and play at Bloodfest, and it just kind of is what it is now. They haven't got rid of me
yet. I love it. And where are they based? Is that the Texas? Are they based in Texas? I forget.
Denver. They're based out of Denver.
I'll be doggone. I didn't realize that in Denver. Well, that's another.
Yeah, but we pull out from everywhere. We've got quite a few Colorado kids. We had the most Iowa kids I think we've ever had this year, and then Wisconsin, Carolina, Florida, California. So they kind of pull from everywhere.
That is fantastic. My goodness. Well, from a coaching perspective, what do you think is the most important thing? And the only reason I asked that, I've been around a number of different coaches, and you can tell the ones that have significant impact, not only on the record, I mean, which I always think is secondary, but more importantly on their players and the way that they carry themselves. That's one thing I remember very well about your teams there. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able to see, they carry themselves very well. And even Rebel, from what I was able did the same thing. So that goes back to, what do you think is the most important thing that a coach could do for their players, an organization?
I think, yeah, I guess that's kind of a layered answer because you kind of have to have the wins to build the confidence. But I think probably the most important thing is the culture.
Mhm.
And obviously that's pretty vague, but building a culture, you know, understanding that if you can't pass the ball or can't catch the ball or you drop a couple passes at practice, like that's not the standard. The standard is that we can make these passes. We coach, like I coach the girls and the boys the exact same way. So like the standard is you can make a 15-meter pass, you can catch the ball. Like we don't accept drops. Um, we expect you to be fit and aggressive. I guess the work rate, kind of that lunch pail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know we've said it before. We're not finding work, so we're always doing something to be busy or front load it to put ourselves in a good position to do something well.
Mhm.
Um, but after that, the culture kind of just takes care of itself. So if you work really hard at practice, then you're going to have that pride because you've done something hard. So like the Rebel kids, the Waverly girls and boys, Iowa selects, like it's not super easy, and it should be something you're proud of being picked for or your school colors, right? So like we always say, represent the crest, and when you walk around as a group and in pairs, and you have your chin up and your chest out because you're proud of what you have on your chest.
Yeah, that is awesome. Basically, you're leaving a legacy. It's and
Yeah,
that goes a long way when they could see the long game beyond themselves. And again, that was obvious when you came on the field. That was it. It was quite frankly, it was magical to see because we had seen some amazing teams before, and then you guys show up and just it was awesome, man. It was awesome. So looking forward to seeing you on the pitch again. Well, the other thing too, what do you think is absolutely necessary for the further growth of the sport from not only the growth of different teams and so on and so forth, but also to influence the general population?
uh, I mean, I know this one kind of can go a bunch of different ways as Facebook has shown me.
Uh,
But my biased opinion is you have to get it on TV without a paywall.
yeah, yeah,
You've got to have people in the communities that are willing to donate their time because, as we all know, rugby doesn't really pay you a whole lot at all.
yep, yeah,
So you have to have those two things, basically to spark the interest if you see it on TV, and then to have an outlet if that interests you. You know, the I think times we put it in players, so that second, third generation like myself now that are done playing. There's no reason that if you played for 5, 10 years that you couldn't be coaching right now.
yeah,
Um, and one coach is, you know, depending on what type of rugby you're playing, you're either talking one coach is 15 players or one coach is 25 to 30 players. And I think that's probably the biggest way you get people involved in that is if they can see it. You've got people that want to coach it.
yeah.
Um, and then on the flip side of that, you got to have referees too.
Yeah, yeah, which is they are going into a dearth right now. At least they are out this way. It's wow. Wow. My goodness, there's so many other things that are out there as far as questions wise. What do you think the most relevant message is for people that are considering it as well as the people that are already in it?
I guess if you're considering it, like we've always kind of called them fence sitters, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, if you're on the fence about it, what's it gonna hurt to try?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like
Yep.
if you don't try, you'll never know. If you try and it's not for you, then at least you know. But
Right.
it's very hard pressed for me to find more than a handful of people that have tried rugby and don't really, really like it.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. You are absolutely right. I've never seen confidence levels go up so quickly as well as a lot of camaraderie that comes about from it too. That's what's blowing my mind. That's actually what got me into the sport is to see that impact overall. Love it.
Yeah, for sure. I would, you asked me, and maybe I missed the question, but one of the biggest things that probably kept me coming back to rugby is that camaraderie part of it. Because
Mhm.
there's really, like, everybody always says, so it could be cliche or whatever, but everybody always says, there's nothing like the camaraderie in rugby, and there really isn't. And
Yeah.
I give examples all the time to these new people. Like, I was just in an airport coming back from Utah, or going to Utah with my son, and we ran into an old Welsh guy, and he saw that we were wearing a rugby shirt. So we had a 20-minute conversation with him about rugby just because we had a shirt on.
Yep.
Like, I don't think you get that a whole lot of sports.
No.
I also know that I can make phone calls no matter where I'm at in the country and have a place to stay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
you
Yep.
just you don't get that anywhere.
No, no, you're 100% right. Where you look at so many of the other sports that, and this is not a knock because I have friends and my sons, they play other sports too. But so much of it is so saturated right now. There's a ton of football, basketball, soccer, that kind of thing, and they're all fantastic sports. However, to your point, every time I've run into someone that's even spent time on a pitch for a second, anywhere in the world I've ever been, it is an instant conversation. Every time. It's really cool to see. It's like it's this secret organization of rugby players, right?
Yeah. And the coolest thing is you never know where you're going to be either.
Yep.
We had our town days like a month ago, and I was wearing a Harlequins jersey, and I
Oh,
had
yeah.
some random guy who was like 65, 70 years old say, "Hey, did you play rugby? That's a Quins jersey." I was like, "Yeah." And then I found out he played for the same club I did a long time ago, and he was just back in the area. It's wild.
Oh, I'm over here in Idaho, and this is so random, man. And my they have a friend that's a wrestler, and this guy wrestled in Iowa. He was a four-time state champion out there, a couple decades back. And I go, wait, we play teams from over there. Do you know Waverly-Shell Rock? And he goes, I went to Cedar Falls. Of course, I know where Rock.
Yeah, he knows Waverly then.
It was so random, but it's and that's not an isolated event. It is something that happens over and over again. And that's absolutely love that about the sport, man. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. But
Yeah.
man, I can't thank you enough though for taking some time away from your busy schedule. I know we were threading this to work and now you're picking up kids and you probably had to practice after that, but thank you so much. And if there's anything that you need on this end, please don't hesitate to call and let us know, man.
Yeah, absolutely. With having four boys and then, well, actually, sorry, with having six boys and a girl, it is busy. Um, Seven kids between the two of us. We don't find a lot of time, but we'll always make time for rugby or squeeze it in there somewhere.